getting back to wrestling, since you went way off in left field.
Yeah, sorry about that.
You were a wrestling fan growing up. What were some of your favorite memories?
With wrestling?
Yeah.
So, yeah, like I said, I loved the 90s wrestling growing up, but my peak fandom was during the Attitude Era because I was, in my early teen years, and back then that was the TV that you sought out as an early teen because it was edgy, and I loved Stone Cold and I loved The Rock, but there was something that was just so damn funny to me about a guy who thought he was better than everyone else. And that's why Kurt was my favorite wrestler growing up. And never in a million years did I think I would meet him or make a documentary about him.
Yeah, isn't that something? It's like probably a few times you've had those pinch yourself type moments that, hey, I am literally working with the guy that I loved, enjoyed so much as a pro wrestler. I'm freaking working on his biography.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And when I first met him, I had many of those moments. Now I just bug the shit out of him.
Yeah. Well, he bugs the shit out of us too, so it's okay. It's all good, man. It's hey, and listen, right now, because we're recording prior to watching this, I cannot wait to see this, especially since I've heard the focus is, him and winning the Olympics and that's more of the intense focus of this. I did want to ask you, because I heard this is your debut, right? Yeah. Is that right?
Yeah, this is my feature film debut. And, I always wanted to do a scripted movie, and I wanted to be a scripted movie director. But as streaming started being more and more successful, I really started falling in love with documentary. Documentaries, we're only a handful of years removed from when documentaries were very inaccessible. There would be one or two every couple of years, maybe a Michael Moore documentary that you would see in the theater or something like that. But, ever since, Netflix blew up and streaming blew up, documentaries have grown in such popularity. I honestly think we're only years away from them equaling movies in popularity. And I just thought it was such a good way in. And since I'm so familiar with movies, I really wanted to make this doc feel like a movie. I didn't want it to feel like you were watching. I didn't want it to feel like you were being educated on a topic. I wanted it to play like a movie, and I'm close. I'm very happy with how close we got to that goal.
Well, why did you want to make this documentary about me?
Okay, so that's a great question. As I said, Kurt was my favorite wrestler growing up, and I wasn't aware. I was a kid, so I wasn't aware of Kurt's backstory, actually. I didn't make the connection. I didn't even have the connection between the Olympics and pro wrestling. I knew him from pro wrestling. And I had never seen a wrestler whose gimmick was based on their own backstory. And when I kind of found that was almost a rumor that circulated among me and my friends at first. And when the internet kind of was coming out and I was able to finally look it up, and I saw that it was based on his real backstory, not only that, saw that it was based on a dramatic and unbelievable backstory, I just thought that was a mind-blowing thing. And that's never left my mind for all these years. And I was I always thought that there was unexplored ground for film. And there's been pieces on Kurt before. Mm-hmm. And I've always been, confused about why no one attacked that. And I think everyone thinks that pro wrestling fans want to see his pro wrestling and that's it. But I always wanted to shock pro wrestling fans and tell them the story that no one had ever seen before and spend a lot more time on Kurt's Olympic story. So that was my goal with it. We do go into his pro wrestling years as well, of course. And it's a biopic. But I wanted it to have the feel of more of like an overall like sports epic that you would see on like a 30 for 30 or something like that.